God only knows what you've been through. God only knows what they say about you. God only knows how it's killing you. But there's a kind of love that God only knows. God only knows what you've been through. God only knows what they say about you. But God only knows the real you. There's a kind of love that God only knows.
Welcome to Season 3, Episode 36 of Your Journey is Not Over. My name is Tanya Pearson Randolph. This is my own personal journey. This is my healing journey. And the expressions and opinions are of my own. I own all the rights to my personal journey, to my healing journey, and to Your Journey is Not Over. Neither of the three are to be used, copied, nor edited in any way without my consent. Well, thinking back to that year and 9 months of completely locked down in my home, now looking back, it's truly unbelievable to me to even concept that truly was my life. I now relate it to when someone tells me, oh, I took a long nap, or I slept over until 10 a.m. this morning, something I never do. My response is, your body must have needed the rest. Our body, our minds, and our souls knows what we need and when we need it. And what we need may not align with our schedules, our lives, but one way or another, God makes sure we get what we need. I needed that complete shutdown to be able to hand off the control, the power of my life that I'd had to carry since I was 10 years old, since my big brother was forced to leave me, stranded, alone, to survive with our mother, which left me essentially living alone at 10 years old and surviving the best that I could. So this control, this power, as some call it, is something I was forced to take on at such an early age. And looking back, it was a breath of fresh air to have someone, my now late husband, that I loved, trusted, and knew he would never do anything to hurt me in any way. Very protective of me, my feelings, always looking out for my best interest. Just very kind and nurturing and understanding. He was like a walking, breathing miracle in my life. So for the first time since I was 10 years old, I could relax, I could breathe, and I could trust and completely relinquish all of my power, my control over to someone. And I knew I was in good hands. God brought me, my now late husband, into my life so that I truly could learn unconditional love, loyalty, and complete trust and healing for the first time in my life, my adult life. I will always say God brought me exactly who I needed into my life. I was in safe hands with my now late husband. When you're in lockdown, you truly have no control over anything outside your city, your home, as in a cruise ship or even a plane. The only control you have is what you do and eat on that cruise or where you sit on that flight. Once you walk aboard, the captain, the pilot, is in complete control. So in lockdown, it leaves us very little control. We rely on others, as in myself. I relied on my now late husband to get, to pay, to make sure we had everything that we needed. He did an amazing job taking over our cruise ship, our home, our lives. He was essentially the captain of our ship, our home. I was just a passenger for that year and 9 months. And yes, now looking back, reflecting, I do have extreme amount of guilt about that. And I always told my husband, as a running joke too, that he was an extremely lucky man. He got with me during the time in my life where I was entering menopause. I'm sure he never envisioned what was to come with my anxiety, my panic attacks, and yes, depression and PTSD. That our lives, the ebb and flow of our lives, would change so drastically. Who could have ever guessed? And yes, the women that I have met and coached, talked to, messaged with, that are in lockdown, the many things that we all have in common, in that we were all active, productive, busy, independent, confident women, and then our lives took such a drastic turn. We all have different journeys, of course, different life lessons, different experiences, different traumas. But the one thing that we all have in common, the lockdown began during our beginning stages of menopause. Of course, menopause changes our bodies in so many ways. It's more than just the night sweats, the mood changes, the bloating. Our chemicals in our brain are changing. Our brain is our control center for the entire body. So, how can our brains and the chemicals not come into the equation? Our bodies are changing naturally, shutting down our reproductive system, stopping our menstrual cycles. And if you're anything like me, I couldn't wait for that time in my life, embracing getting older because of that very reason. Along with all those changes within our bodies comes changes as far as outwards in our lives. So, me personally, with the women that I have had contact with, I can't help but to wonder, did menopause play a part of the complete lockdown, as well as all the unresolved traumas, the PTSD, the wrong turns, the disappointments that life brought? Did everything catch up with us and collide with the menopause stages? I personally believe timing is everything. And yes, I do personally believe that menopause has to play a part in the lockdown in the lives of us females. I get told quite often that it's like I'm only talking to females, and I apologize for that completely. But the only perspective that I have is my own. And yes, men suffer too. I, in fact, have spoken with, messaged with, Zoom with several men that have reached out, all different journeys, of course, and a couple are veterans that are suffering from PTSD, from what they seen, was exposed to, witnessed, was made to do in a war zone, a battle zone. And what they were sent there to fight for, too, was our freedom. And later in life, they all pay the price physically, psychologically, mentally, and emotionally. And they found themselves in lockdown, not wanting to leave their homes. I wouldn't describe it as scared to leave their homes, as in my case. I would describe it as they'd seen the worst of the worst, that their life, their experiences showed them. So it's safer, it's calmer, it's more secure to be locked down, away from the world. I feel honored that those chose to reach out to me, a total stranger. And they, men and women, have trusted me enough to reach out, to share their experiences, their life lessons, their journeys with me. Sometimes just having someone to relate to talk to reflect back with. It's so healing within itself. And just listening, no advice given, just letting someone share their experiences, their lessons, their journeys, truly does open the gates to their yellow brick road, their healing journeys. Being a friend when they need a friend, having an open ear and an open heart will help someone, anyone, to begin to share and to heal. We all need healing from something, and the world needs healing now more than ever. With God, that healing will come. With God, all things are possible. Yes, I do want to get to how I slowly got back into the world. I had help from an angel that truly God sent into my life, as He's done my entire life, to help me, to assist me through that part of my journey. But I want to spend some time on the how, the during the lockdown, not skate over it or through it like I've been known to do my whole life. Carry on. If I share the how I think I got there and I share my life during the lockdown, hopefully it relates to others and makes sense to others how your journey led you there too. As I say, no matter the differences in our lives, our traumas, our life experiences, our journeys, we all that found ourselves in complete lockdown, well, sadly, we all arrived at the very same destination. But please know, this will not be your final destination. I do not own the rights to the things that I chose to share today. So don't be anxious about tomorrow. God will take care of your tomorrow too. Live one day at a time. That's Matthew 6:34. You don't need to be perfect to inspire others. Let people get inspired by how you deal with your imperfections. Sometimes you have to let go of the picture of what you thought life would look like and learn to find the joy in the journey you are actually living. Please remember this. You are not the person that you were 5 years ago, 1 year ago, or even a few months ago. Give yourself credit for the lessons you've learned, the habits you've changed, and the healing you have worked so hard to create. Remember, we are all a work in progress, and it's progress that we strive for, never perfection. This concludes my podcast for today. Please join me next Tuesday. Listen in, and always remember your journey is not over. God bless.
God only knows what you've been through. God only knows what they say about you. God only knows how it's killing you. But there's a kind of love that God only knows. God only knows what you've